Power Project crew, what's going down? Today we have an amazing guest. He's somebody that we were really looking forward to hanging out with since the inception of this whole trip. The trip that wasn't supposed to happen, that ended up happening, and thank goodness it did, because we got our boy Street Bike Tommy. Tommy was a staple on Travis Pastrana's Nitro Circus. In case you're not familiar with that, Nitro Circus is basically Jackass on motorcycles, but like all the stunts, everything was multiplied by like 1,000. Tommy's been training with our boy Brian Allsroot, and he's being coached by our homie Uncle Nick. So that's kind of how we were able to make that connection. And he's so fun. It was just, we were just hanging out with him. It was so cool. He was telling us tons of stories of like how everything got started. And it was really cool because, you know, I finally got a reference on a show where I could actually say CKY2K. If you guys know what that is, then it's basically Jackass before it was Jackass. And he said that was one of the videos that inspired him to like really just start being a madman on a motorcycle. It started with just doing wheelies every now and again. You know, he kind of just wanted to show off, and then next thing you know, he's being chased by all the cops in his neighborhood or in his town, and it just escalated. One thing led to another, and then eventually there was a competition to try to win $2,000, and it was. Again, it was just like a Jackass thing, right? Like, hey, if you film it, let's just see what you guys can do. And he wrecked his car, and he did all kinds of stuff. And then the big thing that really put him on the map is he never took his street bike off a ramp, and he told Travis Pastrana, like, yeah, I'm fine, I could do it. And instead of just, taking it easy, he decided he wanted to do a front flip, and it ended terribly. He shattered everything. His leg was barely hanging on by one tendon. But he jokes around about it. He laughs, and he can't wait for the next thing. The whole time, the Power Project crew was just, eyes wide open, jaws on the floor, because we just couldn't believe like that. And that's the funny thing, man. Like he just wanted to do all this stuff just to show off. It wasn't even to really make money. It just doesn't make any sense. But I mean, obviously it all worked out because, towards the end of the show, he's just like, yeah, I get to do whatever I want to do with whoever I want to do, wherever I want to do it. So, he's traveled the world several times. It's a success story. It's just a totally different route than most people would take. But nonetheless, it is a success story. Real quick, thank you to Icon Meals for feeding us the entire trip. Without them, I don't know if I would have gotten any food at all. I mean, I know I'm down for fasting, but 4 days straight of not eating wouldn't have been cool. So thank you, Icon Meals. If you guys want to check it out, please head over to iconmeals.com right now. At checkout, enter promo code PowerProject for 10% off your order. Again, I highly recommend basically anything with brisket that they make. It's delicious. If you guys dig this episode, make sure you hit Tommy up on social media. His social media links will be down in the YouTube description or the iTunes show notes. Let us know what you guys think, and please, please, please enjoy the show.
My stomach is definitely hungry.
Yeah, mine makes weird noises all the time. Like it wants to be on the show.
It really gets wild.
Yeah, it does, right?
It's getting wild, yeah.
Yeah.
I had to pull the microphone away because it was doing the same thing. My tum-tum was growling.
The next time it does do that, one of you guys just
go into it, lean in.
Yeah. Like
it sometimes happens like directly after I have a sip of coffee. It's like, I don't know, stirring the pot down there.
Ooh, I'm sorry, guys.
What happened?
I just think it'd be bad, but it's pretty.
Well, these aren't like. Well, see, you should know
really,
these things.
I'm so sorry. I didn't think
these aren't like cushions. I mean, this is like leather kind of ish.
Yeah.
It's not absorbing. Go. There's no filter on it. It just.
Yeah, you can't really fart into these.
We'll get you that lounger over there.
Yeah.
So you were trying to get a check mark, and what happened? Did you get one?
I got one.
You feel different?
I don't. I just feel like
the blue IG check mark.
More mad than anything, man.
Like why did it take so long?
Why do you hate me? Like, what did I do?
There's a lot of punks out there with a blue check mark. I see.
I had a couple friends. Not even kidding. Like, I had some friends that had like 1,500 followers, and they're like new to like, I don't know, singing or something. They
knew somebody on the inside though.
No, they just got it. Like, not even kidding, man. And I'm like sitting back and I'm like, I have all this stuff under my belt, TV shows, you name it, like print, actual for real movies. And I had like imposters. Like if you typed in my name, it would be a list of fake me's. So like, and I'm constantly in the news. Like I actually had like newspapers. And
You're like, yo, I'm actually legit.
yeah, like
I swear.
like I actually blanket like everything you want.
Yeah.
And
But it's like everybody says that.
but it's like for like 2 years, like I'm like throwing these requests at them, and then like I kept getting denied, and I had to get a hold of a friend of mine that's actually like had a friend in Instagram, and next thing you know, I got my blue check mark. And
I wonder if it's like Mark Zuckerberg just sitting back, like laughing at everybody, being like, "This guy thinks he's real. This guy thinks he's a celebrity."
It probably is because, well, you know how Zuckerberg is, man. I'm a gun guy. And I'm like Captain America. I eat meat. I lift, you know.
Yeah.
Now I'm starting to lift
doesn't like
weights.
you.
No, he's like, nah, son, you don't get that blue check. Yeah.
You started to lift some weights.
Yeah. So
What's going on with that?
Uncle Nick, big Uncle Nick, my man Nick. He's been training me for like the last month and a half. I've been trying to, you know, New Year's resolution. You know, just be healthier, and it's something to do.
It's March, so you're hanging in there pretty good.
Yeah, solid. Yeah, and I took a week off, had the flu, and then I did take 7 days off last week because Monster Jam came through town, and those boys like to get loose. And yeah, I got to get back on track, but we sent it pretty hard in Baltimore.
You liking lifting?
Oh yeah,
Digging it?
over there at Never Sate, and
Have you messed with it before?
so I used to powerlift in high school, and I used to go to competitions, and I won a bunch of stuff. And I lost track of it when I turned 21. We all know why. So
Wait, why?
I like to drink and chase the women's.
But you waited till you're 21 to really like go deep.
Really
drinking,
cut
though?
loose. I actually didn't really drink all through high school. Like I was always the kid that was like the sober guy with a 12-pack of Coca-Cola under his arm, for reals. And like I'd be at these parties, and like the cops would show up, and they'd be pushing me out front, like, go talk to the cop. I'm like, dude, we're not drinking. Like, I mean, breathalyze me. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I know you guys are drinking. I'm like, punch and pie, bro. Leave us alone.
Yeah.
And you know, we'd have these cool parties because like I'd be like an ambassador in between the drunk kids and the cops. So high school was fun, but when I actually did start drinking, it was full tilt, and yeah.
It's probably a little bit tough too, being a celebrity, right? Like, you know, people like they want.
You know, it's so hard out here.
Well, no, they want to have fun with you, right? Like, hey, let's
yeah.
grab a drink. Like, or people want to buy you a drink, or people want to experience stuff with you on a different level than just kicking it, right?
You would not believe how many times I get offered drinks and drugs and all kinds of stuff, man. People don't hold back.
Let's smoke a joint together.
Oh, bro, it gets loose, and I'm all like, nah. But the shots, like, I'll take all the drinks. Like, like, what do you drink? I'm like, pfft.
Anything.
The years and years and years of people buying me drinks, like, you name it, like, we're drinking it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you can put literally whatever you. The only thing I don't do is gin. Can't do gin. It tastes like pine cones to me. I'm like, and it's like too dry. Like, smokes my mouth.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, it's not my thing.
You know, like you say you started drinking heavily when you were 21, but obviously you've had a lot of success. So, I mean, how did it affect you? Like, it seems you've done well.
Yeah. So, it seems that way. I've made about every mistake you can possibly make because I like to, like, just life in general. Like, I like to really just have as much fun as possible at any time. And it's gotten me into like a lot of trouble, but, no, I like to cut loose, man. And, you know, I'm a glutton. So that's like why I've gotten overweight over the years and stuff like that. And, it's just, now I'm trying to dial it back, you know, and it's kind of hard because these events are really fun. I was drinking last night. Kind of almost forgot about this podcast this morning. Yeah, me and Nick were actually sitting at breakfast, and I was like staring at my phone. I was like, man, why is 11:30? Why is 11:30 ringing my bell? Like, it was just like I'm getting this like recall, and I'm like, I feel like I'm supposed to be on a podcast. And Nick was like, are you kidding me? I thought that was Saturday. And I was like, no, dude. I got a text last night. I was already drinking. Yeah, so we ran over here, and we happened to tuck in behind Arnold randomly enough. Like, he was already...
Oh,
like,
shit. Have you met him before?
No, so I didn't meet him now, but
You just saw
'cause
him.
we were
Yeah.
en route. Like, we had...
On a mission.
Yeah, we had a beeline it. We were late, so... well, I should say I was late, so I don't want to put Nick under the bus. But I saw the back of him and the whole crowd that was following him. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, just being here, man. Like, I know this isn't like the star-studded event that it's supposed to be, but I'm having a great time. You know, like, this is kind of like being at like a really exclusive club. And
It's different, right?
yeah, it's cool because like now we got elbow room and like everybody's not, you know, doesn't have that like, you know, like mentality, you know. So I'm pretty excited to check out the event. It's like kind of like I'm dipping a toe in, you know. So next
Have you been out here before?
I've been through here on tour with Nitro, but never for the Arnold. And I didn't really see the city at all. Like, when we're on tour in the States, it's normally a bus tour. So they get you in, they get you out. Like, you probably get 2 hours during the loadout to hit a bar real quick and see if you can't pick something up and drop her off the next town. You know, for real, happens. It's but yeah.
Have you always been this way since you were young? You always wanted to have fun? You're always kind of just seeking, like, just laughing and having a good time?
It's funny. I was quiet. Like, when I was like, it was all, I can actually tell you the moment that it all changed for me. And this is the first time I've ever told this story ever.
When you discovered vaginas.
No. Yeah. This was the third grade, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
A little early for that.
Is it?
I think.
I'm joking.
So, in the third grade, I had straight A's all the way up. And, like, every class I ever had, straight A's. You know, and I was, like, always attentive and, like, in the front of the class.
Paying attention.
Yeah. And then, like, this one day, my math teacher, Miss Creech, she, this dude, like the bad kid, you know, but the cool kid, like the cool bad kid, was acting up in class, and like as a punishment, he had to sit next to me. Like, she was like, "You got to sit next to Tom." You know what I mean? Because like I was like, you know, like, "What are you doing? Shut up! You know, be quiet or whatever." And like this kid, he like spit a spitball at somebody, and it like whacked him in the face, and I was like, you know, I thought it was the funniest thing ever because it was like, "Bah!" and I didn't know where it came from because he did it like real fast. He was like, "Bah!" You know, and he like,
And you don't even know how to make a spitball, right?
No, never. And he like straight up like snipered this this kid, and like I thought it was the funniest thing in the world because now he's got spit on his face, and it's like something that's foreign to me. And he goes, "Hey man, you want to try?" And I was like,
Do I?
No, I don't want to do that. It's bad. So he's like, whips out another straw and like hands it to me, and I was like, "What am I do? What do I do?" He's like, well, "Use the wrapper. Like, put the wrapper in your mouth." And I was all like, "All right, here we go." Put it in my mouth, and I was all like, he's like, "All right, no, just aim it at somebody." So I was all like, "Oh my god!" And I just felt this like rush over my body, and I was like, "I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." And I was like, and like straight missed, like, but like this kid saw it like whiz by his face, and I was all like, "It was me." That was like I got like super like my stomach dropped, like I was gonna get in trouble, like I'm gonna get kicked out of school.
That's a rough feeling right there.
My dad's gonna disown me, like all this. I was like, "No." And he's like, "Dude, try it again." I was like, "Man, no, try. He's like, he keeps like egging me on. And I was like, "All right, whatever." And I just tried again. I was like, bang. And I hit this kid dead in the face.
Smack.
And like, I'll never forget it. Like because he did this twitch thing. He was like, "Ah," and like, you know, and it hit him dead in the face. And, I was like, oh no. And like that feeling just got worse and worse. But then like nothing happened. Like, that kid actually got in trouble again for the spitball that I spit. Because like all the kids,
Because you would never do it.
yeah, right. And then I was like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever! You can just like have fun, and like you don't always get caught, like, you know."
It's not always a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it was kind of like that was the opening to like kind of
What's the kid's name? The spitball kid.
Tom Ford, believe it or not.
Wow.
Real talk.
Tom
Okay.
Ford changed your life.
You can look it up. Shayside Elementary School. That's a real story, real names. I don't know. Am I allowed to say that stuff?
I think so.
You can.
I mean,
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, it really happened.
You ever hit Tom up since? 'Cause
No,
what's your
what's
life?
Tom doing?
I have no idea. He probably did. That kid was such a bad
He's in the
kid.
joint.
He was a cool guy, but he was
Yeah.
just such a bad kid.
He was a bad kid.
Yeah. And then that, like, through my high school career, like, I was always class clown, but I was always, like, scared of, like, going fast and, like, doing, like, stuff that would hurt me. Mm-hmm. And then I got pretty good at driving my Ford Explorer, like, when I first got my license. I thought I was, like, Cole Trickle out here, you know? And I was going around all these corners and stuff, and I was like, I'm so fast. But then, like,
Out there drifting.
yeah, like for real though. Like, and the Ford Explorer was no joke. And I ended up one night, like, my buddy was egging me on. This is like right when Gone in 60 Seconds came out. And he was like, go baby, go, baby, go, like the button. And like, I was just driving super fast, like on my road. Like, I had this like super long, like mile long driveway basically. Like, but it, like the first part of it's street. And that first corner, you know, I'd take it super fast. And this one time, the tires, like the stuff that you don't think of as a kid, like you don't understand that, like every time that you've done something before, like the tires were flexing and like air was coming out and I wasn't like aware of pressure. And like I go around this corner again and the tires just come right off.
Shit.
And like I flip it and I get ejected out of my driver's window.
Oh shit!
And like, I don't remember any of
How
that.
fast were you going?
Probably 75.
Oh.
And like
shit.
they measured blood spatter because cops came out and they measured blood spatter 20 feet in the air, like from like, because when I got ejected up, and it's a good thing that I got ejected. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, but it was a good thing that I got ejected because like I'll show you, like I'll find pictures later, but like it looked like a can opener ripped open the truck like on my seat. So like if I was still in the truck when it continued to flip, it's a wrap. Like
My son gets his license on Monday. This is a great story.
Teach them about tire pressure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or
Shit.
yeah, I mean, you just make bad decisions sometimes.
Oh,
and-
he's going to make a bunch of them, I'm sure.
yeah. I
Deal
mean,
with it as it happens.
you just can't be scared of that stuff because everybody does it.
Did you get hurt?
Yeah. So like I had hairline fractures. Like my whole skull like was like looked like just shattered. Like from like this whole front, like from here.
Holy shit.
And it was just spiderweb fractures. And it actually healed back with calcium deposits and stuff. So after that, I could pretty much put my head into whatever I wanted to. For real.
Superpower.
For real.
The making of a superhero.
Yeah. Yeah. Captain of Crash.
What about your parents? Like, what they think? You know, you tell them like, "Oh man, I don't know what happened." Or
Well, so I don't remember any of this. Keep in mind, that's the only time
Yeah.
I've been concussed in my whole life. Like the only time. And I came to, and all I saw was like rotor blades, you know, because they airlifted me to shock trauma because of the head injury.
Wow.
Because like I was all messed up, but like I was like up and like in autopilot basically. And they told me I punched one of my windows out of the truck. Like I was mad at the truck and I was screaming that a deer jumped out in front of me. So like the completely idiotic, like not under its own control body of me was looking out for me later with a story of something that didn't happen. So I was like really impressed with myself because like, you know,
you're like, "Wow, I got this covered pretty good."
right.
Yeah.
And you know, it wasn't a big deal because of the story. Like the deer thing made it, you know, totally like insurance or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, Pops wasn't super pissed, but he was super pissed because like the deductible was like $1,500 or something. Shit. And that was a lot because, you know, my pop spent all his money on property. So we didn't have any like extra dough. Like, so he was like, you gonna get that. So I had to go to work and pay that off. But,
You take a long time to recover from that?
not really. The bones probably, because like it's not something that they can monitor or cast. You know, they just kind of, as long as it's not shifted, like they just let it heal.
Yeah.
There's not much they can do, but it was about a week. I was just in and out, and I didn't really know cognitively like what was going on. Like that was a weird feeling.
So none of that didn't slow down your desire for
because like,
having a good time.
in my brain, I was like, well,
I'm still okay.
if that like I wasn't awake for any of it. Like in my brain, legit, like it was like somebody chopped a movie. Like it was like frame to frame. Like somebody had took one frame of me hanging out, like I was playing video games at my buddy's house, and then the next frame that was cut. And this is my to this day memory of the situation, except for like I remember the rotor blades. But like at the time, like I'm playing video games, and all of a sudden it was like boop, and I'm like in the hospital. And my head hurts, and I'm like, I come to, and it was like straight up like, Wizard of Oz. Like I'm looking around, and my dad's there, and my mom's there, and my brother's there, and a bunch of my friends are like around my bed, and I'm like, what's everybody like looking at me for? Like what? I thought it was fake.
Yeah.
Like at the time it was happening, and I was like, nah. And my dad's like crying. I've never seen him cry before ever, and like he's like not okay, and then I was like, what happened? And this nurse who happened to be standing right there was like, you were in a bad car accident. And I was like, but who was driving? They're like, you were. It was your truck. I was like, nah.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's like in my brain, I'm like Mario Andretti, bro. Like, I ain't crashed. What you talking about?
Like now I know you guys are playing because I didn't crash.
Right. And then like they were like, yeah, but Nick and Brian were in the car with you. And I was like, are they okay? Literally that second, the thing opens up, and these dudes in straight up smocks come walking up, and Brian's pushing an IV, and Nick's got his arm around Brian, and they're like, "Oh, dude, we're good." And I was all like, "This isn't real. Like, this isn't real." Yeah. Like, and that's like, it went from literally like the controller was in my hand to boop. I saw that situation, and it was, I was like, I mean, if the worst happens, it's not like I'm going to know about it.
Yeah.
So send it,
Oh my gosh. And now you have like a helmet built in because all the calcium, right?
Yeah. Just in the front.
Oh shit.
How'd you end up getting into like TV and stuff? You said you've been on TV since 2004. What?
So shortly after that, I turn 18. I get out of high school, and I buy my first crotch rocket because like,
Can you explain what a crotch rocket is?
Yeah, it's GSXR 1000 made by Suzuki.
So street bike.
Got it.
Super sport, it's like the go fast, It's cheap because like when we were all going fast back then, and like this is the era of Fast and the Furious 1, Gone in 60 Seconds, and all these things, and like all my friends were like hyped about going fast, and the cheapest way to go as fast as you can is a street bike. Like you can at the time drop 11 grand and go 200 miles an hour.
Holy shit.
So, yeah. So I went straight to the dealership, got this, bike, and started riding around. And I was running from cops all the time because I didn't have a license, So, like, I was just like, Crown Vics he ain't catching me. What are you, crazy? So I started riding around all super fast. And I'm like getting this name for myself, like around the area, being loose. Cause like we'd film everything and just have a good time. And, it was funny cause like what started actual, like me wanting to like show off for people was like every stoplight I would get to, it seemed like there was a kid, like there was just some kid go, do wheelie. And I was like, oh, how you suck. It's like, for real? Like, yo, I got this cool ass bike and I got this kid over here telling me I suck. Like, man, I gotta look. So I'm like, whoa. And I like ride around for like 2 weeks, like trying to learn how to wheelie. And like I was doing different things, like filling up my gas tank one day and then like letting it get empty, like seeing what the weight shift is and like trying to figure things out. I'm like, film me. I want to see where my, cause like in my brain, like the front tire is like way up, but it's like 6 inches off the ground, So, we wrote, me and my friend just decided to learn how to wheelie, and I got it. So like I was wheeling everywhere, just like all over the place. I could go through traffic. I could steer around corners, like, and it was like fast too. Like, when you get up in the higher gears, like you can do 150 just forever. front tire stops, you put it down, it shoots smoke out. Like, yeah, it's like aircraft stuff, and I'd go over bridges. Like, I'd try to like wheelie everything. Like, there's even this golf course that has a connecting little bridgeway that goes over like the main road. And like one night I was like, oh, and like went over it and like filmed it because like cars were going under me, and it was like a golf course for golf carts, like bridgeway, and I just like whoa, went across it, and light was all up in the air. It was crazy, but
this is just stuff that you love to do, and you did it with your buddies. You'd film it,
Yeah.
and you guys would probably watch it back and shit. And you weren't like thinking it would turn into anything, right?
No, so at this exact time, Jackass like was just coming out, and
God, what a great show!
Oh, dude,
what a great show, right?
Those are my guys. And then, so me and my friends, we were all watching all the DVDs.
So
Like,
did you watch CKY2K?
Yeah, so
that was the first time
Yeah.
I ever experienced that shit. That's amazing.
yeah, so Bam and his crew, like my hero was always Ryan Dunn, like because like he was always like the guy, like. Whenever Bam was doing something, and Bam was like, putting movies out, and he was like, "Oh, Bam, my chair is so cool." I'm like, "Nah, random hero, bro." Like, Bam's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, but random hero, like, my man was like doing whatever, like off the wall stuff that you'd be like, "No way," like, no. Like, he always caught me way off guard with like everything that he was doing, and like that's who I like saw myself as, like the guy that would go like the next level. Like, do the stuff that nobody was gonna do. Like,
Just take it too far.
yeah, I wanted to be that guy.
Yeah, where you're like, like we all go a certain distance with something, and you're like, holy, when
Yeah.
you do something, we're like, whoa, like,
Yeah.
oh shit. I didn't know he's going to go that stupid with it,
Dude.
but he did.
And then, like, so my friends, because we thought we were, we're just like those guys, so we started carrying around this little handy cam, and we're shooting like mini DV, and all these kids like that we were hanging out with, we'd film all the dumb stuff that we were doing, like shopping cart stuff, and like we were totally biting their style, but we would also do fun stuff in between, and like we'd film like all the wheelies and stuff, and like we had these street bikes, and like we were filming. So randomly, a longtime family friend of mine, she started dating Jim DeChamp. Jim DeChamp was Travis Pastrana's roommate at the time. And at that time, Travis didn't tell anybody, like it wasn't public knowledge, that he was starting to also film a DVD like Bam was. And so they were like collectively getting together, and they were filming all the stuff that Travis was doing. And Jim DeChamp came to like, because we used to party on farms all the time. So like my family friend, she had like one of those farms that like that like we all gathered at like every weekend.
I grew up in the sticks kind of, and like that's what it was. It was like apple orchards or like on someone's farm, and then you had to try to find it, and you had no idea.
Right.
Like, there's no social media
Like
or anything at the time. Yeah, you just had you had to
Yeah.
know. You find the cars, and then you find the spot.
Yeah.
And it was Travis, was he already like really popular at this time?
Oh,
or
he
still-
was super famous. Like
Okay.
Travis has always been super famous. Like
Yeah.
he had his first sponsor when he was like 4 years old.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and like I always knew of him.
How do you get a sponsorship at 4 years old? That's
He
like
was-
a whole podcast, right?
For
there.
real. For real. Like, look up Travis's history. That is one impressive dude.
That's
like,
wild.
From the time he was a kid, like, I mean, they struggled, like, getting him through racing as a child. Like, but he, because a sponsor like isn't like a big money sponsor. They probably gave him stickers back then. But, still, he was getting that attention to where he could get stuff from manufacturers back then.
It's wild.
And then he was like always super popular because like you'd always hear these like this about the famous guy that's from your area. It's like Travis Pastrana. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, never met the guy. And then like when he was 16 is when he won X Games, like the first Moto X Games. And then everybody was like, oh,
You're like,
my
he
God.
can't do wheelies like me.
Dude. Well, no, I was like, yo, like for real, like Travis's name was like gold, like where we're from. And so at this party, the fact that Jim lived at his house all my friends were like, "Oh my god, Jim's so cute, and like I was like, in my head, I'm alpha of the group, I'm like, nobody's cooler than me, all right, you better talk about me more, and so I was jealous, so but when Jim came over to the party, he brought with him a little DVD. And like everybody's like, play the DVD, play your movie, and like
so reminiscent of South Park. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I always think of South Park when you do it.
Yeah, you sound a little bit like Cartman, right?
I identify. That's my dude. Cartman's my man. But so he has this DVD, and like everybody's like, oh, let's all gather around and see how cool Jim is. And I'm all like, man, fuck that guy. But I like him. Like at the time, I'm like, he's cool. But in my brain, I'm like, fuck that guy. So jealous. Like, you know how it is. Yeah. So they put on this DVD, and everybody's gathered around this TV, and we're all watching it, and like it just starts off loose, and you're like, holy shit, these guys are gnarly. Like that was back when they were trying to do backflips for the first time ever. Yeah. Like Travis had done a few, Carey Hart had done them, and Mike Metzger were doing them, but like. People were like, it still was very, very new. Like a foam pit was like the fresh, like it was right when the foam pit like was birthed. And so they were back in the back, and they're throwing these flips to dirt, and like Jim's doing them, you know what I mean? And I'm like, he's not even a pro rider or whatever. And like he has these dudes just over there trying, and they're like wadding themselves up. And like we're all watching this movie, and I'm like, man, this guy's cool. Sucks. This guy's cool, man. I can't deal with this. So like, as the movie ends, everybody's like, oh my god, blowing him up. And I was like, look, man, like I don't know, man, like that's cool, but like if I had that kind of money and resources, like I'd be able to do some pretty rad stuff.
I'd be twice as cool as you.
Pretty much. That's basically how it went. And he was like, oh yeah? Like basically like took offense, as you would. He's like, well, we're actually filming for the second DVD now. And we're having a film shoot in a week. And you want to come over and put up or shut up? I was like, I don't ride dirt bikes, And I was like, I can't. I'm not going to do anything because, like, at the time, all the X Games riders, like, big names like Cowboy Kenny Barch and Ronnie Renner, and like they're all like going to be there. And I'm like, I'll come check it out. He's like, nah, you can't just come over. Right. Like, you gotta put a team together. And I was like, but like, I don't ride dirt bikes. Like, you don't understand. Like, that's not what I do. He's like, yeah, that's not what it is. So. The DVD isn't about riding dirt bikes. It's about just cool stuff. He's like, we're having a competition where teams of 3 go out, and whoever comes back with collectively, everybody's going to decide who has the best footage wins $2,000. And I was like, $2,000, bet. He's like, you ain't got to ride dirt bikes. You ain't got to do nothing. If you talk to the girl in the 7-Eleven into doing naked jumping jacks, you can win. So I was like, this is my competition. You ain't got nothing, So, and we go down to my house at the time, and like me and my buddies, like that day that we had 24 hours, that day, we go down to my house, and we're all sitting in my living room, and everybody's coming with these ideas of like cool stuff to do, and like I thought I was the coolest guy in the world, and like we had nothing but ideas, but at the time, now I'm under pressure, and it's like real. I was like, nah, it's stupid. We can't do that. It's dumb. Nah, like we're getting writer's block, like heavy. Like nobody's coming up with any ideas. And I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? So like just to shake it off, I literally just jumped in my everyday ride at the time, which was a Ford Lincoln 1983 baby blue, had purple window tint. Town car, baby. Hey, I like the lead sleds, dude. The big cars. I used to sit in them couch cars. And yeah, this is it. That was me. And then I jumped in that car, and I put a couch cushion in my chest and put on my street bike helmet and ran that sumbitch into a tree. And I don't know why, but I thought it would be cool.
You got it on tape, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
And then it was still running. Kind of hurt my knees a little bit, but I backed up, and then I hit it like way faster and like folded the whole front end up. And then like I didn't really realize how bad my knees would be. They broke the whole dashboard, like. And then I like fell out of it. I was like, oh God, that hurt. And like, it was good footage, and like, it was cool. It didn't make any sense, but it was cool. Yeah. And then, Like, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? And I was like, oh no. Went inside, got my shotgun and like finished her off, like put a couple rounds like in the quarter panel, threw some glass, shot the tires. And then like, I'm like, what are we going to do now? I don't know. Like, I'm like trying to like think of cool stuff to do. And then like, I noticed that the car's sitting real low, like, cause the tires were popped. So I was like, man, I was like looking, I was like, man, you think Richie could get his truck up on there? And like, I was like, oh, maybe. My buddy had this lifted S10, with some big ass tires on it. I was like, dude, call him over, see if he can't run this thing, get his truck on top. And he ended up breaking his diff trying, but he did get on top of it, but he had to do it backwards. So he backed onto it, and it was kind of cool. And
and the only prize here was $2,000.
Well, yeah.
A lot of destruction going on for 2K, yeah.
Yeah. And like,
$2,000 in accolades,
Did we ever get the girl to do the jumping jacks?
Nah. I didn't have no game back then. For real. Like, I was, you had to like know me to like me back then.
All right, but did you guys end up winning this? Like, did your tape win?
Oh yeah, because that was like my most famed like stunt.
Okay.
Like, because that's where I got my name.
Yeah.
I ended up taking, because everybody's trying to like, you gotta take your street bike out. You gotta take your street bike out. And this time I'd been running from the cops so much they actually had like cops waiting on like my normal route. Like they were for real looking for me. I didn't have a tag. I didn't have a license. Like, and I wore full leathers at the time, and my bike was covered in tiger print fur. Long story. Well, so
Sound very undercover.
but it was fast, so like they couldn't catch me. Like I'd be going down the road, normal speed limit, and a cop would come see me, and like legit, like whip around, like see that bike and wah, and like come out, man, like like I didn't always feel like running, and they started getting really good. Like they almost got me about twice. But I was real like, I don't want to bring the bike out. They're like, you got to bring the bike out. You got to bring the bike out. And I was like, I don't know. All right, let's go get the bike. So I did go do these crazy wheelies down one of the longer highways where we're from. And I'm like going in and out of traffic, and I'm like getting all that good footage and stuff. And all of a sudden, bang, like something happens in the motor and it comes down. I was like, what the hell? And it's like, brrr, cops. I'm like, oh, come on. And I got like half power, like, bike's like topping out at like 90. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, this is not good. So like, I'm like flying down the road as fast as I can. And I'm like, I'm running on this motor that's just about to pop. And then, I cross over the median because I knew they couldn't like do that. And I was like, and then like I go down this little thing, come back up, and I go the other way. And I'm like watching them go the other way. And I'm like, fuck you, and like I get down the other way, and they, I lost them.
Yeah.
So had my buddy come pick me up, put it in the back of the truck, and take it to Travis' house, because now that my bike's shot too. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, it still got some power. Like, let's try to jump it. Anybody ever jumped a street bike ever? Nah. So I'd never jumped anything in my life ever either. Like, ever. So, but I was like, how hard could it be? It's foam pit, right? You just lay in the foam, whatever. So that was like right when I met Trav. I was like, hey man, you mind if I jump my bike in your foam pit? He's like, because like the little arm that he has, like it's not that strong. Like he was like, I don't know, might wear and tear my thing. He's like, if you do it, you got to do a trick. And I was like, all right. And at the time, like backflip was like the coolest trick. And he was like, what are you gonna try? I was like, I don't know, I'll try backflip. Because Travis Pastrana, who I idolized, like the most famous dude ever to come out of our area, is like, now I'm at his house, which is like a house that's like been on cribs, and like I'm like yeah, we're gonna do backflip. So that's like first thing in my head.
Is he the first guy to do a backflip, or one of the first?
One of the first.
He like made it kind of famous, right?
So Carrie Hart was the first one, just because that was before foam pits. Like at X Games and Gravity, like at events, like Carrie Hart would come out and he would throw it. Nobody had ever done it. And like the mindset that you gotta be like, I think I can do that. So you're jumping 75 feet, an FMX setup, and you're getting, 30 feet in the air, and you're just you either land or you get seriously hurt. So to try that, just to wrap your head around that alone, you're like, what is this guy thinking? Like, how did that ever even happen? You know, because it's not something you can do halfway. Like, to learn, like, you know, like Supermans and stuff like that, you just kind of like, as you jump, you just grab, and then like you grab some more, and then you get, you know, bigger extensions. But a backflip, you either do it or you don't.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that he just would come out and then he did it in competitions, like there was no practicing. Like, he'd just be like, ah, and just, you'd see this dude, bang, and just wad himself up. But then he landed it. One day he got it, and everybody was like, oh my God, the game has changed. Right? So, you know.
That is crazy. Yeah. Like, once you're the guy, once you do land it, right?
Yeah.
Who cares if he
It's
messed
possible.
up a couple, you know, he could have got killed. Right?
100%.
But
People have gotten killed.
But when you land it,
Yeah.
you're the first guy to ever do it.
Yep. Yep. And at the same time, Travis, you know, because he sent one into the bay at X Games. Like, he used a berm and just like sent one into the bay, and like he like didn't get anywhere near getting it.
Is he the one in the Red Bull commercial that comes down the other side of the building? Like, he jumps from one building to another? Is that another?
He has jumped one building to another. I don't know about a Red Bull
There's a
commercial.
sick Red Bull commercial that was on years ago. I think it might have been on during the Super Bowl. But the guy jumps from one building to another, and when he lands, he like broke his wrist, and he broke a couple, maybe his ankle or something like that too. And it just goes right up to the camera, and it's like it's not, you know, it's not like fake or anything. It's just shot the way it's shot, and he says, "Welcome to my world." I was like, that's fucking cool.
I mean, he's never crashed like building to building that I know of.
Yeah.
Because we jumped building to building for the TV show in LA, and you know, the thing that you don't really know about, like, he could jump that distance like perfectly every single time.
Yeah.
It's just trapped. He's a machine. Like, he's done it.
Yeah,
his
he
whole
didn't
life.
crash in this one either. He just
Yeah.
hurt his wrist.
Oh, that was probably Robbie Madison.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Robbie
there you
Madison. Yeah, because he did the jumped on and off of the
like in Vegas
that arch.
or something.
Yeah,
Or, is
that
what it
big
was?
ass arch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was insanity.
yeah. Robbie's gnarly. Like, he goes big. He's got a bunch of world records too. Like, he's the distance record, I think, holder right now for like 300 and something feet. Yeah.
All right, so you're going off of Travis's. You're going to his foam pit.
Yeah. So in my brain, I'm like, man, I know I told this dude I'm gonna do a backflip, but like, I'd never done a backflip ever. Like, even to this day, like, I can't do a backflip on a trampoline. I can't do it into a pool. For real. Like, my brain won't let me do it, but I can do front flips. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to tell this dude I was gonna do a front flip, because like the front flip was just, yeah, okay, buddy. Like, because the front flip, it doesn't physically make sense. So for real, even now, there's only a handful of dudes doing them, and they just happened like a couple years ago. Like,
and this is on a broken bike, and you've never jumped.
Yeah, 375-pound Suzuki GSXR 1000 cc super bike, covered in fur.
Sounds like a grip. Oh my god.
Yeah. So, and my buddy is a plumber, and my other buddy is a construction guy, just like me, and that's my team. And I called myself Tom P in the Propane Carnival, because I was making fun of the Nitro Circus. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, then I ended up like, this is around noon. I went and like, Travis was like, you may want to just jump, you know, go up there. And he's like, ever jumped anything before? I'm like, no, never. But I can ride. Like, he's like, all right, well, maybe just jump in very slow at first, just to see how it reacts on the ramp face, because it's a wooden skate light ramp face, and I was running super sticky tires at the time, you know, so who knows like what would have happened on the face. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. I was like, whoa, and it just kind of like landed like in the pit, didn't get any air, and like I was like, I got this, you know, just super young me, full of, man, I had pepper. Boy, I had pepper. And I was like, I'm going to be famous. Like, that was like my mindset. I was like, I'm going to be famous. I don't care what I do. I'm going to be famous. Famous shit. Like, I just had this like, you know, that's what I'm going to do. And I get on this bike, and I was like, that was nothing. And like, I'm looking at this ramp face. I'm like, it's like straight up and down. You just hit it faster. You go higher. You go further too. So I come into this thing at like, because I had a buddy there, because like, at this time all the professional riders had left, even Travis. Keep in mind, at this exact same time, Travis, one of his things that he was doing, he took his cousin, Special Greg, and put a burlap sack over his head, tied his hands behind his back, stopped on one of the popular bridges down in Annapolis, and yoked him out of the truck, put him on the side of the Jersey wall of the bridge, and had a blank and a shotgun. It was like, you know, yelling at his cousin, acting like, you know, I'm gonna shoot you, and bang! And then he falls off the bridge. And that happens. So the reason why I did it on that bridge is because there's a waterfront restaurant right there where people are all sitting outside. Cops got called. It was gnarly. So, because everybody knows his truck, his big yellow stupid truck. So he drives back to the house, and at this exact same time, I'm hitting this ramp again. And all my friends are like, you can go twice as fast. So I was mathematically going twice as fast. I come in his ramp doing 60, boom, go right up. And I'm like, yo, I'm doing it. I'm like up over the front of the thing. I'm like, I'm actually doing it. And it's like coming around. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm going to change the world again. And everybody's going to know my name. It's going to be awesome. And like, I look down and I'm like, shit. Oh man. And I'm like too far, man. Like, I'm going to miss this thing. So like, it's coming around. I'm like, oh, I got to get this thing out from over top me. I'm like, it's coming around. And like, right as I'm like coming, down on the other side of the pit, like it came like in front of me, and I like ditched the bike, but then I was like, uh-oh. And then I had to like try to run out of it. And yeah, it was not pleasant at all. Busted my stuff up big time. Tore my ACL, MCL, PCL. Cause I tried to run out of it. So like I exploded every bone in my left foot. Like every little baby bone in my left foot, just. And then what I didn't know was I did also detach my left calf and my Achilles on the left side. And then on the right side, like when I planted my right foot, that's when my femur came down and mushed my tib fib, like it like grinded, like it just came down into one of those and like ripped everything out. The only thing I had was a partial LCL was the only thing holding my knee together for a month and a half, because like I swelled up like so bad they couldn't do surgery right away.
Yeah.
And like I was in the hospital like taking these blood thinners because like I turned so purple, like from my shoulder blades down, it was like purple.
Shit.
Like purple. And yeah, it was gnarly. But so I crashed, bang, and I'm like, I can't breathe. Like it's the worst. Like I'm alive. Like, cause the whole time I'm like, I'm dying. Like this is me dying. Like that's what I had in my head. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like out of breath. I'm like, and I just couldn't stop making that horrific noise.
Like Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Like I couldn't physically stop making the noise. Like I felt stupid making. I was like, God, why am I doing that? My body's just involuntarily going. And like, I'm like, oh God. And then like, I'm either going to pass out and I'll just wake back up like whenever, but I'm like, it's technically like, kind of like drowning in the air is what it feels like. And like, I feel like I'm kind of starting to go out, like I go and I get it back and I'm like, oh my God, I'm alive. But like everything hurts and like I'm in super pain, but like I'm alive. And then all my buddies start coming, like running over and they're like, holy shit, dude. Like, what? And I'm like, get my helmet off, because I can't breathe. I'm like, get it off. And like, they get my helmet off and I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, calling the ambulance, dude. I'm messed up. And then like, cause like it feels like in my body, it feels like my whole left side's like deflated. Yeah. Like I was like, is something missing? Like it felt like I had a butt cheek gone or something. Cause like there was nerve damage and stuff, like from the muscle, ripping up into my body. And like, I just didn't know what it was at the time, and like nobody, even on the MRIs, they didn't show any of that. Like I was like, later I found out, I was like, why is my calf look like, after the swelling went down, like why does my calf look so jacked? Like it like had like sucked up and turned. So yeah, but yeah, and then that at that time, Travis had just got back to the house, and he was coming down this hill because like there's a hill where the shop is. He was coming down the hill from the house to the shop, and he saw my bike go over his shed, and he was like, "Oh no!" So he ran because this kid that he only met 10 seconds ago, like before, and like he just did his thing, and he's like running down the hill. He's like, "Oh my god, I'm getting sued!" You know, like this complete. Who knows this kid, right? Like, why is he even here? Like, he didn't know like my affiliation, like or anything. And like he's like, "Oh god," and like he's like, and I was like, "What's up, man?" Like, you know, I'm like shaking this dude's hand, jacked up on his foam pit, and he's like got this face like, "Oh, I'm screwed."
Yeah.
And at this time, a squad of cops come down the hill, you know, and they get down to the shop because they knew exactly where to go, and they're there for Travis. Mm-hmm. But as soon as they got there, it quickly turned into this dude needs to get airlifted out to not die because they showed him the footage, and they were like in a panic to get, and then like so he didn't get arrested, but all these cops that came down, they saw the bike and they were like. And like Travis was laughing because they told him all the stories of all summer of them looking out for this bike, and they finally found out who it was. But you know they don't have any proof. I got a lid on. They're like, doesn't look like we're gonna be chasing you anymore. I'm like, but you didn't get me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, that was the rise and splat of Street Bike Tommy, which is funny because like. The reason why I got the name was I was calling like when they aired it, I thought it was famous as hell because Travis rented a movie theater, one single screen in Annapolis, like our one theater, one screen, rented it to play the movie for that little group. And I was like, I'm a movie star, I'm so movie, you know, and like so that's when that clip first got shown, and then I met the producer. Greg Godfrey of Godfrey Entertainment, who created Nitro Circus with Travis and Jeremy Rawl, and he gave me his card. And he said, "Hey, you know, I don't know if you know what you have here or not, you know, because like I was pretty hammered with my friends." And he was like, "You know, you could either always be that guy that did that thing and just have people buy you drinks at bars, or you can take this ball and run with it. Like you can do more stuff." And I was like, "I've made it," you know. Like I was like, I'm finally, I got my foot in the door, you know? So like a month later, I called the number and like his secretary picks up. Totally caught me off guard. Cause like I thought I was going to talk to him. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Godfrey Entertainment, this is Stacy. How may I help you?" And I was all like, is Greg Godfrey available? And like, she was like, "Yes, who's calling?" And I was like, "Oh shit." I'm trying to like in my brain think of like how to reference like myself so he'll pick up. And like, in the DVD, like they just like Puma Pastrana Land Champ or whatever, and they showed my crash and it said Tommy. Yeah. So I was like, I'm the street bike guy from the last video, and it's Tommy from, you know, the guy with the street bike Tommy, the guy with the bike. And she was like, "Okay, hold please." And like she was caught off guard, and like there's a beat, and then he picks up, he goes, "So you got a nickname now?" And I was all like, "Yeah, I guess." And he's like, "Street Bike Tommy." And I was like, "Huh, okay. Yeah." And like Greg Godfrey just gave me a nickname. So I'm like, guess I'm sticking with that stupid name. And that's how Street Bike Tommy was born.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, and the reason why I was calling him is because I told him I wanted to jump off a cruise ship that I was going to be on. And I'm now banned from all Royal Caribbean cruise liners.
Wait, pause. So you're actually banned.
Oh, currently black flag like a mug. Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh man. So me and a buddy of mine, like I had this great idea. Like, what am I going to do next? Like now I got to impress Greg Godfrey. So it's like this, you know, snowball. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I got to do something cool. I got to, you know, I can't ride dirt bikes. You know, like what am I going to do? What's something that I can do that nobody's done? And you know, we're getting ready. We were just happened to be going on a cruise, like me and my buddies. Mm-hmm. And I was like, man, if I jump off this cruise, like that'll be cool. And so like nobody's ever jumped off, like people fall, you know, but like nobody's ever jumped. So I was like, I'm going to jump off a cruise ship. And we go on this cruise, and, you know, I do the whole cruise. And the whole time I'm asking, bartenders, I'm asking, people on the boat, I'm asking anybody that I can talk to, like, hey, has anybody ever jumped off one of these? No, hell no. Wow, no. What? No. I'm like, well, have people fallen? Like, I'm asking people, people fallen. Like, did they live? Because I need to know that. Because I've never jumped off anything that high ever. Like, I may have jumped like off a high dive or whatever, but like this is like high. So, they were like, yeah, people have fallen. I'm like, but did they die? Like, well, some of them. And I was like, well, but people have lived. Like, yeah. I was like, that's enough for me because I'm gonna do it on purpose, right? So they go on this whole cruise, go to Cozumel. I'm drunk the whole time, and then we go to the private like Royal Caribbean island or whatever, and then we go to Key West. And like I was like, all right, well, I'm not gonna waste this whole cruise. Like I'm gonna do it last. So Key West. I'm like, I'm jumping off Key West. I get my buddy to rent a jet ski, and I gave him a camera, same one that I filmed street bike stuff with, and I was like, go out there because I want the bottom shot. Like I want you to come up to the boat, and because like anybody can film a guy jumping off, and it's like, it's not. You want the splash, you want the entry. So I told him to go get the jet ski, and like I want that angle. It's gonna be a sick angle. He goes and gets this thing, but he's like, the thing is like you're supposed to be like way out there, like not even remotely close to the boat, and like you're just supposed to like do these little laps, like you look like ants. I'm talking ants, and it's like I see this one ant after like an hour break away and like head to the ship, but like it's only like halfway. I was like, what is this kid? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I couldn't even tell it was him, but I was like, it has to be because he's just floating there for a minute, floating there. I was like, I'll give him time to get the camera out. He's floating there. I see like what looked to be an arm do this, which I thought was the camera coming up. And I was like, all right,
oh no,
guess I gotta. So I go and like, looking over the boat, the rail comes up like high. So, and it's like at an angle. And so like, I can't really get a really good look over the side. So I go to like ghetto fence hop this thing, I'm like, wow. And like, and then I like pencil. I'm like, yeah, this is sick. I'm doing it. And then like, I look down, and the bottom of this boat just does this. And I'm like, oh no. Cause like I just, had the street bike thing, so like I go to push off the boat cause I'm like skimming the side. Oh, so like, I like push off the boat. Little did I know that had been in the sun all day and was hot as what. And burned my hands up, and now I'm like, my hands, I'm still falling. And that push had spun me. So now I got my legs over my head, and I'm like looking at the water kind of sideways, and I enter the water from 110 feet with the left side of my face. And I had in my head that I was going to, I was like, no matter what happens, swim up hard. I'm going to be deep. Man, I splashed. Like, I'm at the top. Like, I hit and flopped. Like, I was just already there. And I was like, and I couldn't open my eyes. Like, I'm like trying to see. And like, here I am. And I like open my, I do see a little bit. And like, I'm like blurry. And like, there's this huge red cloud just like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger around me. And like I looked down, I was like, oh shit. And like it's like a squishy machine coming out of both nostrils. Like I hemorrhaged something and blood was coming out like in ropes. So I'm like, oh no. And like I'm in this deep ass shark infested water off Key West. And I'm like, come get me. And my buddy, he's putting the camera away and stuff, and like he comes rolling up, and I'm like out of the water as fast as I could ever get out of the water.
Yeah,
dude. And then we get yoked up by the Coast Guard, and they drag us in, and we did a bunch of interviews, and I kept saying I fell for like 4 hours, me like swollen face, like it was awesome. But they kicked us off the boat in Key West, and we had to take a taxi cab from Key West to Fort Lauderdale, where our truck was. And that was expensive as hell, but ended up getting this dude that was like, because it was 2 a.m. by the time, we actually got in the cab.
Yeah.
And this, one of the weirdest dudes I've ever met in my life, who had run away from something he did in North Carolina. And he now lives in Key West, and he hasn't left the Keys in like 20 something years. He's like, man, this is going to be wild. There's going to be more than one lane. And like, I haven't been up that way in over 20 something years. Cause like he got in some trouble and his dad was like a mayor or something. And like basically like pushed a bunch of like his bad stuff under the table and like hid.
Sounds like a TV show. Holy
dude.
shit.
And he ends up taking us, and like we thought it was cool as hell when we first got in, because he was like, you guys want to stop and get some beers? And we're like, yeah. So like we stopped and got a 30-pack, and you know, me and my buddy were just in the back like telling stories and stuff. And this dude's wild, man. Apparently he had crashed a 5.0 Mustang into the like his dad's mayor's house or whatever, some city, he's governor or whatever, but he was like some political person, and he crashed a 5.0 into that mansion because apparently like he like had a run, like he was just always like, man, fuck you, dad, or whatever. You know, he was like one of those kids, and like he was doing drugs and stuff all the time, and like smashed his car in the, long story, but that's, and he was telling us all that, and we're like, we're in the back and we're drinking beer, and we're like, oh my god, and like we were like kind of cool with it, but then he was like, hey, let me get one of them beers, and we're like, nah. Yeah, but then we get up to Florida, and you know, it finally opens up, and like this dude, you could tell had not left the Keys in forever, because as soon as it got to more than one lane and it opens up to like 3, my man just starts doing this. He's like, oh man, this is wild. And he's like doing 70. He's like, I haven't done 70 in forever. I'm like, dude, this is not a good thing, man. We're going to go, like, we're going to die. We end up getting, to Fort Lauderdale, get the truck, head back. And we crashed. My grandma lived in Fort Lauderdale at the time. And we crashed at my grandma's spot. And, we just rolled in night, so she didn't see me until the morning. And as soon as like I came down for breakfast, you know, at this time everything's swole because I ended up hemorrhaging my left eye, is where all that blood came from, and like I had like it was nasty. But she woke up, she goes, "Oh my god, what'd you do to your pretty face?" She's like,
why she sound Italian?
She's Italian.
Okay,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, she's So it was. You're so handsome. Why'd you mess up your face? Oh God. And then like we ended up driving the rest of the way home, but man, kept the tape, like ended up keeping the tape, and I gave it to Godfrey. Footage was so terrible. They ended up using like one of those like zoom in like bubbles and like followed me down the ship, and like it just was this splash. It could have been a dummy for anybody knows, because my guy, he was like, didn't think that I was going to do it. So he didn't want to get in trouble for getting too close to the boat. Mm-hmm. And he filmed from like super far, like fully zoomed in. And it was like just happenstance that he got what he got. But yeah, good times.
Is all this stuff worth it?
Oh yeah. Come on, man. Like I'm at 36 years old and I've seen the world 4 times, and I definitely punch above my weight class, It's
stuff that you were doing anyway.
Yeah. And like I've made a pretty good living off of it. I haven't really been able to save anything because I'm kind of an idiot, but I give her hell.
It's an interesting thing because, when you're saying like that some of it was done to be cool, it sounds kind of dumb in a way, right?
Yeah.
But if we're being honest, everything's about being cool.
Right.
Everything's about mattering to other people. You know, everyone wants to be substantial, lifting weights.
Leave your mark.
Yeah, trying to get bigger.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of dumb too, right? Or trying to deadlift 700 pounds. That's moronic. Like
where are you going to use that in life?
What are you, a fucking idiot? Like that, you're going to kill yourself trying to deadlift 700 pounds,
right. Yeah.
So it's interesting because when you look at it at a perspective like that, well, it's like, just about anything we're doing isn't really just purely for yourself. But in this case, it might be a little bit more so because you're just having so much fun actually doing it.
Right.
Except for the risk factor of like, fuck, I might really get, like some of it's probably fun. And then sometimes you're probably like, well, that was just dumb.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of those times where I'm just like, oh man, it's got to be creeping up on 10 times where I legit thought that was it. Like for real. Like I was in a moment where I accepted that I was going to die. Like, and still here.
Are you old enough yet to kind of start to think more about like how dumb some stuff is going to be that you might try?
Absolutely. And
when we were younger, none of it was dumb.
Yeah. Well, when I was younger, I knew it was dumb, but I didn't care.
You didn't care. Okay.
Like, it's stupid. You're going to, like, there was times where I was like, I'm going to mess myself up right now. It's going to hurt for the next couple months. And I would just be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? And like, I didn't want, it was FOMO. Like I didn't want to miss out on the next thing. Like, cause like being part of that group, like the second that you're just like, nah, I'm good. Like as soon as you puss out,
you're not invited.
There's this other kid that's like, oh, I'll fucking do that. Yeah. Go ahead, bro.
So it seems like a lot of it comes from just like you wanting to have fun and be the cool guy. It doesn't really seem like you're necessarily like a thrill or like always searching for that adrenaline rush.
Nah, it's not really about the rush.
Yeah,
it's about where the rush takes you. Like,
sick.
And I'm not bullshitting about seeing the world. Like, it's taken me everywhere, and I've been able to do it with all my friends at a young age. Because the one thing that you like when you talk to the older people, like because I always talk to elderly, I'm like, I listen to the stories and like, where do you regret? Like, what did you want to do? And they're like, oh man, like we're doing it right now. We're going to see the world, but you're in a walker, man. Like, and who knows? Like, there's so many old people that die on cruise ships. Like, there's old people that literally go to cruises to die. That's true. And it's like, I always wanted to do it on my own terms, man. Like, excuse me. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to work my whole life doing something that was going to beat me up just as bad, because my dad, he can't make a fist, and he's contractor, works harder than anybody I've ever met my whole life. And he got beat up. His back, is smoked.
We talk about that all the time. We've been lifting for years, and we get after it, and we like to train, but we feel pretty good. We actually a lot of times feel better than people that are our own age that just happen to have a really bad back or bad knees, and it's like you didn't even do anything.
Yeah,
you just were living your life just working whatever your 9 to 5 job is, just to have a screwed up neck. You may as well fucking try to do a backflip while you're at it.
Yeah. Meet rad people. Like, there's not a place on this planet that I can't just roll up and be like, oh, I'm just going to go crash at so-and-so's house. Like, I feel like going to do this, and I can stay with this person and line that up. And like, I'm not like, I've made money, but nothing like what people think. But I do have a lifestyle that it doesn't cost me much. Like,
does it mess anything else up in your life, having that mindset of just fun and fuck it? And does it mess up maybe commitment?
It's definitely, because I've had 2 big relationships my whole life. Like, I never really committed much. Like, but I got married once, didn't work out. And then, because it's hard being on tour, and like that was the height of the TV show and stuff, and we're traveling for TV, and she didn't want to ever leave my side because there was like a lot of like, insecurity there, like
you're like, I can't be bringing sand to the beach all the time here.
Yeah. But I mean, but like when I'm committed, I'm committed. Like that's the one thing I've never done. I've never cheated on anybody ever. Yeah. Like I've never even kissed another person when I'm with somebody that I'm like, I'm with you, but, yeah, when I'm, I commit, that's never been a problem. Commitment's never been a problem. I'm always like, all right, fuck it, let's go. And then, the last relationship I was in was like, it's just so hard because they don't understand. They're like, like you're just out there having fun and like, it's not a job. I'm like, yeah. So yes, I am having fun, and I'm not going to apologize for lining myself up in a position to do that for a living. But also know that it is work, and I don't have time to just be like, oh yeah, come on out, and then like you'll get to do rad stuff too.
Right.
like I'm on a schedule. Like we have a shoot schedule. The reason why I get to have fun is because I'm on the schedule and we are doing it as a business. You know what I mean? And I don't have time to like take you on vacation. Like I'm going to Australia and I have taken them, but then they're like, well, we didn't do anything. Like I told you, like the whole, I'm 16-hour days. Like, you know, when they're there, they want me to work. Like they're like, we just spent this money to get you here, and we have all these resources based around you having fun. So go have fun. I'm like, all right, fuck shit. All right, I'm going. You know, so you know, it's hard to explain to them really what it is, because there's like, you know, they have this idea about what it is that I do, and then they fault me for their idea. And
Plus, you're still seeking for the next big thing. I imagine, right?
Yeah. Always.
Still like looking for it, right?
Always. You know, and you know, I'm trying to settle down. I've done some things to try to make moves and keep an economy home, but it's just, you know, it's hard. It's real hard.
Well, you love it. Sounds like you love it. Like my dad has always told me, he said, don't ever feel sorry about loving your work.
Right.
You know, because I had a conversation with him a few years back. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of at the gym a lot, or I'm working a lot. And he just said, hey, you know what? You're a good dad. You're around all the time. You know, you're around as much as you can handle, and your kids don't need you to be there all the time. He's like, just never feel bad about loving your work. He's like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And I was like, oh, that's a good perspective.
100%, man. It's those lessons that, like, I'm glad that I learned early, because we're not here for a long time. And if you look at the bracket of time that you actually get to enjoy life, because you're prepping, you know, you're not even experiencing life until you're at least 23.
You didn't have
24.
a chance until you shot that spitball at that kid,
right? Dude, that was for real. Like, that moment stuck with me forever.
Did you go to any school after high school, or was that was
no?
it?
I didn't even graduate high school. I actually went 5 years because I liked playing football.
Did you ever go back and Did you ever go back to high school and graduate?
No, man. Everybody's like, why did you get your GED? I'm like,
who cares?
I mean, not once in my whole entire life has anybody asked me for a degree or a diploma, which is kind of like, I like just recently realized that's kind of like, oh man, nobody ever asked me for that. You know what I mean? So like, I was like, they didn't ask you. Like, I'd always brag about
it sounds like a good next stunt, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? So fucking go get
GED.
How much more do you got to go?
I think a year left 11th. Yeah, probably 11th grade.
There you go. There's your next trick. I just gave it to you. No helmet.
Like I went and I played football, and then after the final game, which was that Friday, Monday, I was wearing a tool belt and I was working.
Oof. Yeah. Do you have a high pain tolerance, you think? Maybe different than other people?
Quite a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to do stuff around people because they come out and they think that they're going to hang out and like do stuff. And then, like they'll slam, you know, and then like walking around like, oh God. Oh God. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, come on. I wake up like that. Like, damn.
So so what is that like now? Like, you got some aches and pains and all that? Yeah,
especially like when I do some drinking, like last night, and like I like to get after it, so I dance a bit, and like I'm pretty active when I drink, and then like I don't know it until like I try to get out of bed, and like right now I got something wrong with my knee that just it's been bugging me, but the worst thing's been my tailbone, man. Like that was like one of the worst injuries ever, like because I didn't just break the tailbone, like broke the tailbone, and I shifted my number 2 vertebrae, like not the tailbone, not that first vertebrae, but the one above it. It's like shifted completely forward.
Like you made yourself an inch shorter.
No, for real. Like I'm actually 100% shorter.
Damn.
Like for real. Like
I was hurting your tailbone is bad. That's really bad news.
Yeah, it was recorded. Like for real, doctor. Like when I go in for physicals and stuff. Like I was 5'10" in high school. I'm like lucky if I'm 5'8" right now. Shit. Like lucky.
How did that happen?
Just over time, or I had a problem with my neck, and I went into a chiropractor recently, about a year ago, because like I couldn't, like something happened, like I slept wrong or something, and I couldn't get out of bed for 24 hours, could not move, and I went in because it was that bad, and I was like, fix me, you know, because it was the most pain that I think I've ever been in ever. Because like normally, even when I'm hurt, like I can still get around the house, like use the bathroom and stuff. But I was bedridden, like could not, like I had to support my head anytime like I moved. And like I go in and I get these x-rays, and it was the first time that I've seen my spine in a while, and like they're just mushed, like, and like it does this the whole way up. Like, and then like I got these like raptor looking claws like around my neck, and that's like where that pain came from, because I guess it's big enough, like it's a growth to where it's like touching like nerves now. So like it hasn't been an issue, it hadn't been an issue, and now it's an issue. So like there's like the vertebrae like are sharp, like they have these like claws on them, is what it looks like. It's crazy. Like I didn't really realize how much damage I was doing until I saw that, because like I haven't had an actual like back x-ray until like, you know, about a year ago.
Is there any mentors or someone out there that's older that you look at where you're like, I like doing this stuff, it's cool, but I don't want to end up like that necessarily?
Well, I mean,
or even you mentioned some people died, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few friends die. You know, this just sucks about the sport, but you know, you're chasing that. You're that close. It's going to happen. You know, you just try not to have it happen.
Yeah.
You know, you do as much as you can without the ultimate, you know.
But it's not really a factor for you at the moment where you're like, well, you know, you're not too worried about the future in terms of like an injury. Like you said, your knees are jacked up or whatever. You're still going to do your thing.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's the thing. Like you look at a guy like Travis, Matt Hoffman, like these are the older guys of the sport. And even Dave Mira, like, unfortunately he took his own life because of CTE. Which is a real thing that like we also like as in action sports,
yeah,
you know, are finding out about now. But you look at a guy like Matt Hoffman and Travis, like they're still mobile, but only because they keep in shape. Like if you were to just be lazy as hell, you know, I'm like on the verge of that. Like I do just enough to like function. But these guys, they're in pain all the time. But you know, no matter how many times that they bust themselves up, they keep getting back up,
right?
And like they can be fixed. It does linger, and you're gonna have pain, but like it's not the end of the world, and it's worth living that life for that.
I get it. It makes sense to me.
What spurred the delve into lifting and fitness then this year? Because that's kind of, I mean, it's a little bit of a shift.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so I've always gone up and down probably 70 pounds. Like I fluctuate 70 pounds. Like I get to the point where I'm like, I'm either on or off. I got no middle ground. Mm-hmm. Like my transmission's got 2 speeds, fast and what was that? You know what I mean? Like I don't have that middle gear. So my whole life, like I'll eat and I'll drink and I'll eat and I'll drink. I'm like, oh, McDonald's, who cares? Y'all gobble, gobble, gobble. And then I'll be like, oh man, look at yourself. You're gross, you know? And like I'll get on this fitness kick, and like, you know, because I've run marathons before. Like I can do I've done over 100, you know, probably 120 miles is what we ended up doing on bicycles. Like
shit.
Like I have, you know, I have the mental
fortitude,
yeah,
strength, yeah.
But like I don't have to do, like there's too much fun out there for me to stick to anything. And like this time I'm like, and I've gotten off of it a little bit, but like I'm like no matter what, I'm sticking with it this time, because like I'm actually having fun with it, with the strongman stuff. Because like I actually used to run, like I've done different fitness things. Like I'd either diet full swing, you know, and not exercise, and like that worked for a while, and I'd lose weight. And then like I'd be happy with where I was, and then I'd gain it all back. And then like I'd try running for a little bit, and like I'd run, you know, 14, 15 miles a day, you know, and you know, be like, oh yeah, now I'm fit, this is awesome, and then like lose it all again. You know what I mean?
Because I'll give you like two pieces of advice I think would really help. Number one is to like just with your nutrition, just rather than like being on any particular diet, just never allow yourself to be like totally off every single day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can still eat junk and you can still have a burrito here and there, but have some sort of rules or at least a thought process.
That's where I'm at.
A plan,
Found that.
just like with your jumps, all right, well, that jump sounds really fucked up, but I got a plan based off previous history. I can push the bike out for me and all that kind of stuff. The other thing is just to try to find some type of exercise every day and make it so simple, make it so easy that it's easy for you to do every day.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like walking, like like just cheat, like count anything. Be like, yep, I walked for 10 minutes. Be like, it's fucking done.
Yeah. Well, so
just try to, keep that on your radar as much as you can. Cause then you don't have to worry about, maybe going up and down so much.
Well, right now I feel like I finally found what works for me, which is like unreal. Like, so
That's
like
the best. Yeah.
I'm nowhere near keto whatsoever, but like, I never had a sweet tooth ever in my whole life. So cutting out sugar and bread was like never a big deal. So like I love eating just steaks. Like I'm a meat guy. Like I love just cooking up steaks.
So we
and
need
chicken.
a steak and alcohol diet.
Well, that's what I got.
That's what we need.
That's what I got. That's what I'm on. And it's been working. And plus, Nick's been holding me accountable for myself. And like he always hits me up, hey man, like he'll send me a program. And like when I don't feel like it, and then like I see the program hit my phone, I'm like, all right, fuck it. I guess I gotta do it. You know what I mean? And like, that's been like my mindset. Even when I don't want to go, like, I'm just like, just go. Like, even like, just show up. Like, even if you don't do anything, just go. And then once I get there, I end up doing it, and, that's been and it's fun. Like, that's the thing. Like, this is the first time that the fitness part has been like fun. You know what I mean? Now I have goals. Like I want to lift this, or, I want to do that better. You know what I mean? And like, or get a pump and just look better. You know what I mean? And, I can't thank Nick and, never say it enough for the help, because like I would have never found this. You know what I mean? And it's super random that I even met Nick. I met Nick at was a Project Runway. It's a foundation in Maryland. They, look out for abused animals, like really heavily abused animals. And it's actually coming up in April. We're doing it again. They get celebrities, from all walks of life to come, to the Royal Farms Arena, and we walk a runway with these animals. And the idea is that the people in the audience then adopt these animals who have walked with the celebrity or whatever. So like a lot of football players, a lot of the Ravens players, surrounding areas, Steelers suck. But, so like these guys will come out and like, will walk the runway with these abused animals, and then they get adopted. So it's like a really cool foundation. And Nick was there with, Old Smiles. So, that's where I met Nick backstage, and he was like, yeah, dude. Like I was like, bragging like, I used to lift in high school, and he's like, yeah, dude, you should come up. So I did it, and just that first day, like the first time I walked in the Never Sade, I was like hooked, like straight up hooked. Like I'd always wanted to like lift Atlas stones and like log bars and stuff, and actually physically getting in there and doing it, I was like, man, I got to do this. So I'm hooked. So yeah, I'm
Brian's a beast,
dude,
right?
Animal. Him and Nick, dude, those guys, it's unreal to watch. Like, you don't expect them to be able to lift what they do, and like just watching the squat racks and stuff, and like, I'm like, come on, like no way. And then it moves, and then it goes down and up like 3 times, and you're like, God, fuck me, right? I suck, But that gives you something to shoot at. Like, right. You're like, man, I want to do that. Like, I want to be that powerful. Like, because I always like look back and I think of like when I was in high school, listening to the big weights that I was doing, and like it's nowhere near what they're doing. But like back in that day, like I felt like I could do anything. Like that's where the pepper came from and now that I'm starting to get back into it, I feel like I'm starting to get a little pepper. Like, and I haven't had pepper for years now. Like I've been like over it. Now I'm actually like feeling like functioning. Like my back feels better, my knees feel better, my joints, like it's all starting to feel like really, really good and solid. And it's been a long time since I've had that functionality. That's awesome. So I'm pretty pumped on the whole fitness thing, man. I'm like, it's a new chapter for sure, and I'm stuck. Like I love it.
What's your goal?
Just look better, feel better, be stronger, be the best me that I can be. you know, like I don't really have a goal because I don't want to say that like I want to go and do X, because in my life, like if I fall short of something, like then I get bummed on myself,
Right.
and like I'll stop doing something because I didn't get that.
Right.
So like if there's never a that, then I'm going to continue doing what I can. You know what I mean? Like just stay after it. You know what I mean? Like there's no real goal other than just do what I can.
I like it.
That's so interesting because like usually it's the exact opposite for most people. Usually they're like they need a that to do the thing.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a like that, it's just I haven't heard that before.
I'm a conundrum, man. Like I'm a show pony, born show pony, and I love showing off. But if somebody's like, "Hey, do that thing that you did that was funny," I'm all like, "No, I don't want to. The pressure. I don't want to. Everybody's looking at me." You know. But like if I'm in my element, you know, and I choose to do that, then like I'm all about it. Or like, you know, if somebody's like, "You can't do that," I'm like, "All right, yeah, cool, man." Like. I have like that backwards thought process. Like I don't know. It's just, I've had to find mentally where I'm at to be able to do better, you know, because man, it's hard, man. Like you'll just get those days where you just get like bummed or like depressed, and it's just you gotta find that spot to just like get out and do. You know, it's that's the hard part, is like the mental game. And I feel like I'm in a good spot now, like better than I ever have been with anything that I've tried to do before, to just do better in all things, you know, because like I've made a lot of mistakes, and like I want to do better in all things. And just doing the fitness stuff has translated to other things. Like I've been cleaning up a lot better. Like, you know, I've been cooking for myself and eating better. You know, it's dominoes into like all things. Like I started with the one thing, and then now it's just carrying over, and I'm feeling awesome. You know, I feel like I'm getting some direction too. You know, I got some goals for myself to really, you know, chase down some new things, new avenues, and see where the wind takes me. So yeah, it's going to be fun to see the next couple of years, because I have no idea what I'm going to do. Yeah.
What's coming up in the near future?
I don't have anything for really real planned. We just wrapped on a new TV show that I did with Tori Bellici from Mythbusters. It's on Science Channel. It's called The Explosion Show. You can watch it for free if you download the Science Go app. That was really fun because I like to blow stuff up.
Yeah.
That just kind of came out of nowhere. Jeff Tremaine hit me up and was like, "Hey man, you want to do TV again?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And like I didn't even ask him what it was.
Uh-huh.
And when he told me it was blowing stuff up, I was like, "There we go. This is going to be another hidden camera show. Joke's on me, right?" Flew out and filmed a whole season. And like I was like, all right, maybe it's real. It's the greatest job I've ever had, you know, because it was just fun. Like I didn't wake up scared. Like Nitro, man. You wake up and you look at the call sheet and you're like, oh, man, that's me. Got to go do it.
Yeah.
And even if you're hurt, man, that was the hard part. Like you'd be broken. Like I'd have actual broken bones. And guess what? Today's your day. That's what we had lined up. So
Go do it.
Go. All right. Where's the duct tape? Get some wood. You know. And but then you know, I'm trying to do is what I can now that like I choose to do. Like back then, like I was in a position where, you know, if I didn't do it, I'd get left behind. Mm-hmm. Now I'm just like, I want to do what I want to do because it's better footage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter the amount of time it takes me to accrue this stuff. Like I just don't want to do it on my own page. And I've been a lot safer nowadays.
Have you done any collaborative stuff with like the Diesel Brothers or any of those other people from those other shows that are similar?
No, I mean, I'd like to. Those guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Like one of my sponsors that I've had since the beginning, Rockwell Watches, also works with Diesel Brothers. So we have some connections, but I've met those guys. They're good dudes.
Yeah, sometimes you're on different channels and things like that, and maybe it doesn't always...
It's been hard because like... with the Nitro stuff, Nitro doesn't really have a home now, but they don't let you do other stuff. So like, I took some time off to start a barbecue restaurant in Maryland. Yeah,
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I kind of got a long story, but we were just recently closed because I just long story. But I had like my partner just. we were super successful. Had customers, food was great reviews, but just extremely mismanaged because I didn't know what I was doing. Like that wasn't my forte. Like I was just cooking, and then it got running in the ground. Just if you spend more than you make, But I learned a lot though. Like I learned a lot, and I can do a lot now because I'm going to try again later, and I will get that done, and it will be awesome. But for right now, I'm just kind of floating to see what's up next. Yeah, because I have a couple things in the fire that are going to be pretty cool. So pay attention. I'm going to be swinging for the fences here. Yeah,
awesome. Where can people find you?
Instagram mainly, at Street Bike Tommy with underscores in between Street Bike and Tommy, because some kid had my name when I signed up to Instagram.
Dang. Still working on that blue check, right?
Yeah, well, I got it.
Oh, you got it now.
Oh, I got it. And it didn't really, I wasn't as pumped when I got it. I was like, yeah, I should have had a stupid thing. But yeah, mostly my Instagram is.
I wonder if you'll be able to get that red check too. I'm just kidding.
I was like, is that red check?
Yeah, wait, what?
Double verified.
Yeah,
exactly.
Verified twice. But yeah, and my Twitter is Street Bike Tommy. Facebook Street Bike Tommy. I'm verified on Facebook. But yeah, I don't really use those much. I'm all about Instagram. It's just that one thing is easy because it posts to both, all three, whatever.
Cool, man. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me. This was fun.
Take us out, Andrew.
Thank you, everybody that's been rating and reviewing on iTunes. That helps the show out so much. Shout out to whoever's review I read at the end of this show. I'll do it later. But if you guys want to hit me up, it's at I am Andrew Z on Instagram. Make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project, at MB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Nsima, where you at?
And Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, and Nsima Yin Yang on TikTok and Twitter. Mark.
I'm at Mark Smelly Bell. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch y'all later.